B, and B.
You need to get you one. Cutting grass and doing stuff around the house, people running by and see
I
the
think
shirt.
that was all I had for the
Yeah,
females.
you got one in the city.
And the 3X.
Walking in Lowe's, I know you go to Lowe's.
And Excel's fine, huh?
I don't have any of those.
You go to Lowe's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can advertise. it.
All I had is the 3X. It should be
I'll take, I can manage.
black or
Yeah,
or-
It's fine.
It'll straight cut when you walk.
the black, yeah. They, I mean, they're kind of pretty short, but they're good wearing shirts, so.
Oh, I like their thin.
Yes, well, they're that soft, very comfy.
Thank
You're welcome. Alrighty. Okay, well, looks like us today. So, let me grab my little. Stand over here the whole time. Definitely a flurry of activity across the state.
That's what I hear. It's been pretty busy.
Yes, yes. And then, of course, I know you guys have some corporate happenings. Okay, so here we are in October. It's hard to believe that we're already, somebody says, is it 10 Mondays till Christmas? So.
Somebody's counting down.
And
Goodness. Okay, so October is always breast cancer awareness, and we still always highlight that because, even for men, it is still a risk. A man's lifetime risk of breast cancer is 1 in 1,000. So believe it or not, men are just as much at risk. Now look at that for women, 1 in 8. I could be that 1 in 8. Praise the Lord, so far I'm not, but you never know. So we are just reminding folks that October is breast cancer awareness. And please tell your wives, your girlfriends, whatever, please go get that mammogram. It's never too early. All righty, so we have the Underground Damage Prevention Review Board coming up. It is on October 17th. We've been holding those at our event center in Greensboro. And I have the privilege of sitting on that board for NC 811 as that representative. So I'm just one of the voices. We are receiving quite a few complaints in the last year. More folks are sending in complaints. Some of those that we're seeing are anything from contractors calling out members, homeowners calling out homeowners. It's just a plethora of different type things. But just wanted to remind you, if you can't work something out, you can't reason with people, then this is the enforcement arm of the law, and that is the Underground Review Board. So October 17th, it is open to the public. But if you cannot make it, there is a phone number that you can log on to it. It's all on our website in case you cannot find that. You need to take a picture?
I was just gonna take a picture of that phone
Sure.
number because we had a
Yes,
conversation about it.
yes,
Oh,
yes, would love to have you join.
I had to get it off. I can't get it. You
I
do.
know Mark Worth usually joins, on behalf of Dominion, so he's usually on there. I think he might even show up. Sorry,
I did.
go
I'll
ahead.
take a picture of it because I'd like to have it myself.
Yes.
Mine wouldn't be.
We would love to have you. So once you dial into that phone number, it'll put you, onto the phone system, and then it'll ask you for that meeting ID. And like I said, if you lose that, go to our website on the calendar, and it's on there as well. So I'd love to have you join in. I think, we've got like 30 something cases, so
Yeah,
it's gonna be
670.
fairly busy.
Yeah.
836-107-488. Oh, you mean the phone number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
984.
she did get that. I thought you were a little bit to the left.
Are Y'all technically challenged me.
Yes.
My phone is, because you wouldn't zoom in.
Really?
It's all blurry. This is a Samsung old.
Oh,
My wife said, I can't believe you carry that old thing
Oh, my
around. I
Lord.
said, it's paid for.
yeah.
I don't want to buy a new one.
I got
Yeah, but sometimes these operating systems are getting so old, they don't even hardly pick up calls anymore. Okay, so then our next meeting that we have this month is the NC 811 board meeting. It's going to be held in Wilmington, and that is the State of the Union for North Carolina. We do it on a quarterly basis. So every department within NC 811 gives an update. I provide all sorts of numbers as well as events, people that we trained, head count, interviews, all of that. So anything that we do, we document to make sure everybody understands how much education is going on around the state. So that will be there as well as we will talk about data there. We always talk about the numbers. It won't be long. These little kids will be out and about. So just as a reminder, please be safe around all of those kiddos. All right, so let's jump into the numbers so you can kind of see how busy you are, right? That you didn't know you were busy, correct? All right. So I've had them to start adding these numbers because we've been trying to give you an idea, because sometimes people kind of glaze over numbers when we start talking about them. So now we give you pictures to kind of see the difference between 2023 and 2022. So we've ended up at a 4.3% increase from the same time last year of September. This month, we ended with 229,003 tickets. So you were talking about money. Yes, that's a lot of money. There is a lot of noise in the system, and we're going to talk about some of that when I get down to those people that are calling in the most locates. That is 4% up from last year, 219,532. So this right here is something I really want to talk about. 66,923 of those tickets were updates. So that means almost 30%, 29.2% of the whole entire volume for the month came from updates. So do you really feel like all of those projects are continual?
Some of them haven't even got there yet.
Bingo.
The scheduling is off. They
Bingo.
don't know how to schedule this stuff.
Believe it or not, that is actually a 0.8% decrease from last month. So that is what we focus a lot on with the Locate Resolution Partnership. We, there's at least the top 5 members are there. You guys have a seat at that table too. Duke, Charter, AT&T. So a lot of these, Piedmont Natural Gas, so a lot of these large operators that have a lot of the volume, what we find is the volume, DOT, because that's number 1. Their prime contractors are the ones that are adding to all of this. So we spend a lot of time trying to really work with these members to reduce this volume. All right, so when we look at our year-to-date numbers already, 2,017,000 locates. Wow. Are y'all worried?
That's in
Yeah,
North Carolina.
that is in North Carolina.
Right.
And then we've got October, November, December, 3 more months. Unbelievable, isn't it? So last year at this time, we were at 1,902,000. So you can see the overall volume's up even more, 6%. So a lot of money being spent on locates. Can't throw enough manpower at it. You just can't keep up. So we've got to try to help people understand to work smarter. Come to the UCCs, get to know the man, the plan that
Well, they all
locates.
know me.
That's right.
Or they know Cole.
There you go. So the men with the plan. So the more they get to know you all when they are, against the wall, they can reach out to you. They got your phone number and say, hey, let's meet on site. Let's talk about this 154 miles of fiber that's going in the ground. That they shouldn't be throwing in 150 tickets in one day. They need to partner with you all, and those are the things that we're trying to get them to understand.
They don't care.
Now, this is where it really gets boggling. Transmissions for the month of October was 1,197,000. That number right there means every utility is paying for that cost. So you're absolutely right. There is a cost. And I think what has happened over a course of years is, it's fast, it's free, and it's the law. Do you agree with that term still?
Free part, yeah.
Several years back, we kind of rebranded that and said it's no cost. Because free is always, it's just such a different mindset, and we're trying to get people to understand, though it's not a cost to you, it is a strain on the system, but yet we want to protect those utilities. So we're trying to figure out ways to do that. I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
got a question.
Yes.
Something that's happened to us. We had a big project down here on, Broadway Road.
Mhm.
We had went and located the whole road
Oh,
for what they needed done. And we had the state, I guess it was the state contractors that mowed that area, just mowed right up everything, every flag. Yeah.
Oh,
Is
my
there
word.
anything that can be done about that?
It comes down to communication. Was it like Dixie Lawn? No, they've got a lot of the contracts. So used to be AT&T was concerned about that. Okay, that had been a thing. So we had a process, and it kind of got, it basically became obsolete. It was definitely pre-COVID, but they were tickets that were logged into the system, but they weren't sent, to the members. So it was something that we offered, but then the board chose to make them obsolete. So AT&T had a similar thing. Hey, they're coming through here, they're mowing over our pedestals. And it was from mowing.
Over pedestals,
But
over
it got stopped.
signage.
It got stopped, and, because we found out that it just become more of a burden to kind of provide that. And so, the board agreed, and it became obsolete. So it went to a board vote.
And I've run into that. I would locate like in a yard and have it all located out, and I ain't even left yet. Might pull up with like a contractor pull up with a lot, to mow the yard, everything. I ain't even left yet,
So let me ask you this, have you had any conversation with DOT, with the division here? Because it's all
No.
done through the division as far as, mowing of the right of ways.
I haven't had.
That's a good conversation, reach out, pick up the phone and call the division and say, hey, we're having this issue. What can you do to help us?
You shouldn't have to do that, because I went through there Friday to look. Thousands of flags from other utilities.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody. And you can see where they fly.
Well, and I know, but think about the disconnect of DOT is contracting all that out. They don't do it themselves. They contract it out. How many times do you think they're really talking to those guys on the mowers? The person that they're probably talking to is the person that owns that business, or, that's doing that. And then this guy says, hey, you want a job? Can you mow?
Yep.
Boom, go at it. And they don't know nothing about utilities.
I just wouldn't want to make that mess, because it makes flags and paper and
They don't
trash
care.
and
Yeah.
plastic.
They got it. So as far as that job's concerned, once they get their silt fences up, then you'll have a job area.
Right, and then it makes common sense,
They'll be out of it at that point. And Paul has talked to them recently, like in the last 2 weeks, about them mowing over our markers and stuff. Cause they called me up asking, we don't want any problems. And I was like, they ain't gonna have no problems. Just listen to them. Any
Yeah.
problems, give me a call.
Just be careful and not, mow it over.
Yep. But that's another reason for your updates too,
Yes.
and your remarks.
Well, it's a
And your,
plethora. of
and your
things.
destroyed marks.
Yes.
So that causes a lot of more transmissions.
There's
because
just
they're
in
more-
case tickets.
Exactly.
Hey, if I can't work over here, just in case, I'm gonna call it in and maybe I can work over here. That's the
And
type thing.
And
we're
they
trying.
come in and mow before they get there to do the work.
So what I need you all to do, and I hope you're doing that, is to let Parrish know. Hey, we're having an issue with this contractor. And if we know the issue, we'll look at a ticket and say, okay, well, the issue is starting as number one, they're a remote ticket entry user. I'm gonna immediately go back to our RTE department and say, can you look at these tickets? Sometimes we can drill it down to it's one person putting in all the tickets. You call them, well, I'm just doing as I'm told.
Exactly.
So that's an opportunity for us to go in and kind of help understand their
That's
processes.
what we did with Boggs.
And then.
Well-
Because Boggs been calling in tickets
So-
since last year this time.
Yeah, and so I looked at one of the tickets last night and I saw that here's where, with the Locate Resolution Partnership, we focused on two different things. One, we looked at tickets that were called in 2 or more times that say their work is only gonna last 1 day or less, okay? So you would think if it's 1 day or less, 1 ticket's gonna be sufficient, right?
Should be.
So now we're looking outward of if they've called in 2 or more times, they're showing up on a list, okay? So once they figure it out,
Mhm.
how easy would it be to fix that? All you do is you change the work date.
Right.
So therefore, if the work day doesn't show 1 day, it's not gonna show up on that list. So then we run another query of all the updates. On that query, I can then go back and look and I can pull, because Boggs is number one on that list. We're gonna talk about that. I can look at all the tickets, and typically we meet every other month. So she'll give me, she'll give me the 2 months. But typically what I do is I just go to the very last month. And I can look at all their tickets, and then there's a count on that ticket, and it's an update count. So I can look and say, wow, this ticket's been updated 68 times.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating, it happens. Why is it 68 times? Okay, so I pull that ticket up and, well, they're working on the bypass of Highway 74. Okay, now it's beginning to make sense. Well, this is something that is long range. But then we got to dig into those and say, is this ticket still valid
Right.
within this area of the project? Those are the things that we're trying to get them to do. Okay, so,
Don't call in the ticket. Work's already completed. They'll call in the whole
Yes.
project on
Right.
time.
and we're trying to get them, so that's why I like to, if I can identify one person that's putting in all those tickets, then I can go to that person and say, well, why are you doing this? Well, they told me I needed to do it. I mean, I talked to one other day that said, well, I'm not, we're still not working in the area, but I've been told if there's no response in 3 days, go ahead and put a 3-hour ticket in. Okay, well, why don't, if you're not gonna be working quite yet, let the process, because sometimes you can't get to it to day 4 or 5. I mean, unfortunately, yes, the law requires it, but realistically, real life, you are inundated with tickets, you're doing the best you can. So we're trying to get them to understand, stop throwing stuff into the system causing that noise. 10,764,000 transmissions. Goodness, I gotta do some math. How much you think it costs to go out and locate? One ticket.
Well,
$65.
Okay, let's do that.
We get the
65
located.
Times 10,764,966. $699,722,790. That's how much it's costing. So then, what happens? You gotta pay a power bill, right?
Mhm.
Where do you think that's gonna come from? It's like I tell everybody, this whole industry is like sewer. It all flows downhill.
Mhm.
And guess what? At the end of the day, we're the ratepayers and we're gonna bear the cost. So that's why beating my drum is going back to these contractors, trying to help them understand the confusion and just the constant that they're causing to the system. See, they're more concerned, well, they're just not putting paint on the ground for me. Well, yeah, but you're part of the problem, that they can't get to that.
And keep calling.
Because you keep dumping
Yeah,
200 tickets in when
we're not doing the work.
I could say, hey, my friend, let's go out, let's have a meeting. I'm gonna be doing, 3 miles. What's the best solution to get my tickets done on time? I would think you would say, why don't you put a couple tickets in today? I'm gonna locate those, we're gonna get your guys started. And then a couple days later, put a few more in. So therefore, everything's not coming due at one time. Come on in. I'm beating my drum.
I see.
Yes.
There's donuts
You
right
guys.
there, isn't
Oh, I don't need to sign it.
Oh, yes, you do.
Okay, all right, fine. Yes, ma'am.
I've got to have attendance. All right, so that,
So,
I'm gonna get off on that.
donuts right there in front of
I
you.
can smell them. That's what
He's in here, man.
Fresh.
He's eating
Like a ham
eating
dog.
mode.
All right, so these are the numbers for Lee. So we can already see the same time last year, you're already up 40% last month on new tickets. That's just the first time they called that ticket in for a particular address. All right, and so now you're actually down on the 3 hours. That's good. That means y'all are able to get to your new tickets on time. Sounds like it.
Thanks to everybody.
But this is
Mhm.
interesting. 623. So
That's all.
what this tells me right here is you guys are able to respond to your tickets within a timely manner.
We don't want nobody out there digging without Mark.
So I met with AT&T yesterday, and these are the group of AT&T that mark their buried drops. So the way the law works is you place your ticket, you're given 3 days to respond to that ticket. You guys are doing your job. If that doesn't happen within that 3 days, then the law says they are to request a 3-hour to get that done. And then if that doesn't happen, then the law just is kind of, that's it. Okay, then you have to make judgment calls. But if you call back in, we will retransmit. We'll do that as a courtesy. We'll retransmit it. It's just another copy of the ticket. It comes in as retransmit. I'm sure you've seen them. But I caution them, please don't do that. Because that number we just added up, that gets thrown into the pile again. So on average, there's about 6 members that are responding to all these tickets. So 1 ticket, 6 members get a transmission. So that's 6 different costs. So you said $65, that's 65 times 6. Every time that ticket. So the more I can help y'all understand that and to go out to the field and say, 76 tickets on average is what you guys had for last month. And when we look at year to date, you can see the average new tickets are up 40.6%. But overall, the 3 hours are up. Updates, look at that. But it sounds like, this water main project's part of it,
Yeah.
which I know this contracting company because they're from the area that I grew up in.
What?
Know them very well, had no idea that they were putting in a water main now. They've always just been road pavers. So that was interesting when I looked at that. All right, so there's your numbers. Where's all this work coming from? Right here in the city, right? Most of all the work's right here in Sanford, a little bit over in Broadway, Carolina Trace, Jonesboro, Lemon Springs, and Quail Ridge. But the bulk of everything's right here. Now, let me just get into where the damage is, and then we'll talk a little bit about all the top collars. I've been trying to provide this the last couple months, moving into the next couple months. I want to try to break it down by each county, excuse me, and kind of show you all how many damages based on the number of tickets. So therefore, it will give you, especially with pipeline operators, you want to know what is your ratio per thousand. So that's something I'll be working on to provide back to you. This is all that's been reported, 6. Now, this comes from both what was reported to NC 811 and then what was reported to DIRT at CGA. These numbers will probably go up as people put information into DIRT. I know you guys put your ticket information into DIRT one time a year.
Oh, damn.
So do you believe that there were only 6 damages in the month of September here in Sanford?
Against us, yeah.
That there was more?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't even think we had 6.
No, we didn't have 6. So a couple of water lines, they haven't hit a lot. I hadn't been on that many emergencies. It's not good.
Not for hitting our gas line.
Okay, well, that's
That's
good.
all- that's all.
That's good. That typically will make the news if it does.
I know
But-
that's not, well, it was last week. Okay, it's last week when they took out 12 drops. Which I don't know if they report drops or not. It's kind of.
They're supposed to report everything.
Oh, you talking about damage for everything?
Everything.
Okay, not just us.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Well,
this
yeah,
is
you
for
probably got-
everything.
Oh, well, you got more than 6.
Yeah, that's my point.
You get
is
2.
People aren't reporting.
Yeah, with team, you got 2 or 3, they hit one, I just hit one down here the other day, yesterday, so, yeah.
Staying out here.
Team is hitting.
Yes. There you go.
everything. They don't hit
There's
us,
your top.
they hit us maybe once or twice, but they hit water every day.
Okay, so as I said, when I looked at that box, a couple of their tickets, it said their project was a 5-year project.
Yes.
They're supposed to be hitting every street in Sanford,
Really?
every street.
Oh, Boggs is 5 years. We're doing water, sewer, and widening the road.
Yeah.
Wow.
Harmony, I don't know how long they're gonna be here.
Yeah, so,
Phase 1.
I tell you what, we
So-
have a lot of problems out of that RG Communications. A
right,
lot of times when you get out there, the tickets are already, the work is already done.
right.
And they call it in and you can't get anybody on the phone.
They have been communicating.
You're right, man.
You know too.
So they're in communications.
Yeah, communication, but they.
It's misleading.
So their main focus is to put a drop in. That's their main
Most of the
focus.
time, it's already done.
Because they feel like they're only going that.
So
deep.
let me ask you this, what are you putting, as your positive response?
Work on
I
it.
mean, Sometimes,
good.
sometimes if I can't tell if they done it or not, I'll mark it and I'll put mark.
Okay,
But I mean, if they put down, if I can see it's already done, I'll put down the contractor's already completed.
good, so you're using code 70, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, code 70. So what we can do is we can pull that report and actually we will present that at the board meeting this month. And we'll talk about those code 70s, of the percentage of the tickets, how many folks are doing that. But once again, that's only as accurate as you all are putting those in. So, and I agree. I mean, if you see, you can't absolutely tell, mark it, but if not, then,
And
yes,
sometimes they can, sometimes you can't,
yeah.
I go.
Sometimes they'll go overhead and they call it an underground ticket. So, that's happened too. So that's where the confusion is. Sometimes you get out there and you see where they're do like overhead, but they called in an underground ticket and you're like, did they finish it or did they not, or?
Well, those overheads, I mean, that's gonna be your main line, right? So they're just running aerial fiber and they're just gonna come down.
Run a drop overhead.
Are they running aerial drops overhead? Okay. All right, well, Harmony, I know you had mentioned those, so they are working for Tink. That's one of their, I guess, primes. And then I saw on their tickets, Jira Brothers,
Yep.
Jelbin.
So, well, we're not going there, but I don't know how to say it.
Jelbin.
Jailbreak.
A&S Utility, I mean, there were several, there's like 5 different, folks on there. So you've got subs out there working, for Harmony. Harmony's placing the tickets, adding them on the ticket so that they're covered. Okay, so the second largest team, and then you got MozTech. Most of those tickets I saw were for Duke. I know they do work for you all, but RG, those are the Spectrum drops. And then Harmony shows up again. The reason that it's showing up separately is because of the way that they're putting their tickets in. If they don't consistently list it, though, to me, it looks like it's in there the same way. There must be something different in the system when they're typing it in. So that's why they're showing up twice. So add them both together. Wow. And yeah, they're just barely right up under bodies. Evergreen, do you guys have problems with these guys? Y'all deal with them very much?
Which ones?
Evergreen.
Landscapers.
Well, they're graders.
I don't.
So they have, they consistently have a large volume of update tickets. And they work for a lot of different home builders.
Subdivision.
So this one is DR Horton, but I see them around the state a good bit.
Oh, Colin Road.
And
Enterprise
Yeah.
Fire.
And a lot of
They're
times-
out there.
Yeah, I think I have.
You
seen
get a
about
bunch of
that.
those tickets all the time from Evergreen.
we've talked to them considerable, as in the tickets are showing grading. Okay, you've done your grading, stop updating the ticket until you're ready to come back and do the final grade or whatever else you're gonna do for them. If you remember, a month before last, we talked about in our presentation, the way our software works is if you put an update in, you can let the update, follow through the process, 15 working days, and then don't update the ticket if you're not going to be actively working. That ticket will remain in the system for up to about 90 days. So at that point, you can go back in, grab that same ticket number, as long as nothing is changing on the scope of the work, they can update that ticket and move on. So that's what we're really encouraging folks to do. So please tell those contractors out there that you come in contact with, hey, if you're not going to be actively working, go or stop updating the ticket, let it just follow through the process, and then go back in within that 90 days. They can grab it and update it again. And that way it's not showing up every 21 days. You're getting an update. Okay. So, just something to keep in mind. Southeast Connections, they're doing gas main for you all. Carolina Power and Signalization, they're doing work for Duke. Barrios, they're working for Charter Spectrum. Now they're running some of the main cable, whereas RG is buried drops. And then this North Underground rounding out, and they're doing fiber for Randolph Telephone. Any questions on those? All right, those are the top 10 in your county. just want to kind of give you a little flow chart to give you an idea of how the damages are trending. This green line represents 2022. And then the blue line represents 2023. So here we started out, we were a little higher, you know. We live in a county or a state where, you know, we can work pretty much 12 months out of the year, right? March, we highlight Safe Digging Month, but it already kicked up and we had our highest damages in March. Then we kind of come back down. See how we took a big dip? You know, that's April Safe Digging Month. Maybe it could have been that we're just talking all about safe digging all month long, right? Who knows?
Do it every month.
Yes, absolutely. And then it began to kind of trend up. It's still down below until we get to July, and then August is the highest. Nationally, statistics have been that August has typically been the highest month of the year for damages nationally. You know, every state's a little different, but on average, August is usually the highest month for damages. Now we're beginning to hopefully come back down, but you can still see we're kind of running that trend, and hopefully, you know, people will be taking off. Who knows? So that just kind of gives you an idea where that trend's going. This was from Durham other day when I was there, 87 damages they had, but just want to bring to attention, Wake, 177, then Mecklenburg, 170. So, lots of damages around the state. Remote ticket entry, all those girls over there wanted me to remind everybody of all the resources that we have. Request a single address ticket. Sorry, go back here. Single address ticket, you can do it through the app. If you're a homeowner, please utilize it. Update the ticket, you can do that right through the app. Hopefully they're updating it when they're truly continuing work. And then under the revise section, there is a button on the website and on our app if you need to request a destroyed marks ticket, cancel a ticket, or request a 3-hour. So I spent a good bit of time with, like I said, the AT&T guys, reminding them about, you know, trying not to utilize the 3-hour if they didn't have to. Communicate, get to know you all so that they don't have to keep plugging all these tickets in. All right, so there's our parish coming up. Hopefully he'll be back. It says maybe by the end of October. If not, it'll be mid-November. We're here to assist you and whatever we can do. That's our guy over in the western part, young guy. And of course, I will post this out on the website, and I have recorded the meeting today so that we have recorded minutes. All right. That's all I have. What do I need to do for you all?
I think you're doing it.
Are you having any major issues with dogs that you need us to reach out to?
Already done that. Parish has done.
Yeah.
He talked to everybody, I believe.
They talked to them, they asked them not to, they still did, but now they're.
We had one here in a meeting one time, he never came back.
Really?
I'm working with them now and they're on the job, so,
Okay,
Fine.
yeah, you know, so
so you're communicating.
we're good with them now.
Okay. All right, well, I mean, certainly let us know. And if, on it's the RG that you're saying that are doing, going ahead and placing the drops without waiting the 3 days, right?
Because they say, well, we're only going that deep.
No,
You're breaking the surface.
going that deep.
Yeah. But that's their thinking. We can go ahead and get it in, because that's money to them.
Yeah. The conversation I had yesterday, and this is on the AT&T side with their group of folks in-house. They have a total different mindset. They basically have a no-do policy. And they're trying to figure out, well, how can we get the tickets located on time so that we can do? So, their concern is for safety. So that's a good positive. So if we could get that mindset shifted over, but in order to do that, we've got to, see what we can do to get to Spectrum. So I will reach out to, our Spectrum contact in the area. Anybody come here in a while from Spectrum? Now, who are you?
I'm Dave Brown. How are you?
Dave Brown. I'm Ann Russian. Nice to meet you. What do you do with Dominion?
I am gas pipeline analysis. I deal with this.
So you love the numbers. Awesome.
Mr. Woods and Mr. Brooks.
Nice. All right, well,
We have an inspection, state inspection.
Okay. Oh, nice. So you're, okay. Oh,
Yeah, we just had a public awareness on it.
how did that go?
We have to utilize yourself comparatively a lot more.
Yeah, let me, I'm gonna go ahead, if we're good with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and just, turn off the recording.